Friday, April the 25th. We are live at the New York stock market in New York morning session. Glad everybody can join us and hope you're all doing well. All right. I'm going to start off and look at our earnings report calendar for, not the earnings report calendar, but the calendar for news calendar. News calendar today. No red news in the United States. Okay, so that's it. Consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock, but it's not red news, it's yellow news. So that's basically it. Let's see how our US dollar is doing today. I'm looking at it on the 1 hour time frame. And US dollars at the top were flat, sideways. And looking for continued move to the upside. So neutral to up for the US dollar right now, but yeah, a little on the flat side. All right. And our NASDAQ is a bit sideways right now. So you were caught in this sideways movement, Marquise, you were saying. Yeah, let me see. So we had a 1, 2, 3 top. See. So we had a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 top drop, chop. We had a 1, 2, 3. See how I always say they drop and they chop, chop. We had a 1, 2, 3. When you see always say they drop and they chop, chop. We had a 1, 2, 3. When you always say they drop and they chop. Chop. We had as always. We always say they drop and they chop. Chop. We had as always. We always say they drop and they expected it. Chop. We had as always. We always say they drop and expected it. Chop. We had as always. We always say they drop and expected it. Chop. We had as always. We always say they drop and expected it. Chop. We had as always. We always say they drop and expected it. Chop. We had as always. We always say they drop and expected it. Chop. At this point here, we would expect another drop. However, more than likely we'll take out the stops first before they drop it. And this is similar to like last night before I went to bed. I stayed up a bit too late again last night. Stayed up till after London Open, and this is how I caught this move. Caught this move here, and then went to bed because that's all I wanted them to do, was to take out the stops. You see, so at this point last night, when I saw it drop and they chopped it, I wanted them to take out the lows here, move back up and take out the highs in here, because this is what the game is. The game is all about them going and getting liquidity, right? So if they're getting liquidity and they want to come down to take out this low, for instance, and the lows over here and so on, if to do that, they have to go back up to get the liquidity, and that because it's cheaper for them to go back up and get prices that are cheap in order to drop it down. So I waited for them to go back up. I jumped in, they dropped it down, took out the lows here, the low here. Oh. And that's all I needed, and I'm out. So it's a very quick drop there. So they do that over and over and over again. So they did it there. They chop it. They go back up, take out all the stops again. Same thing. Right? They swept it here as well. Took anybody out who's going to go long. They do it again. Take everybody out, and they drop it down. when they consolidate. And you see how they sweep everybody out. And then do the same thing again. Everybody's got their stops who are going long here. Everybody's got their stops who are going short here. They take them out again, and then they drop it again. This time it's a huge drop. This would have been a beauty one here. Middle of the night. I'm dead asleep at that time. But that's a beauty drop there. And now they chop it again. So it's the same thing over again. So now that we've come to the New York open session, we would expect a similar thing. They'd sweep. Anyone who's got stops who are buying are going to get swept. So all these guys who have their stops under here are getting swept. So we have relatively equal highs here. So there's lots of stops here. So what would we do if we're playing? If we're the market makers, if we're the guys that are looking to get the best prices because we got the biggest dollars and we wanted to get the best prices, we're going to go up first and take everybody out if we're going to drop it down, right? If our trajectory is still to the downside, this is the plan, this is the ploy. Go back up first, get everybody's money. And the money, what I mean when we say money, it's just stops, right? All it is. All the stops are up here. So we'll go and get them, and then we drop it down. Take out anybody who went long. These guys are all gone, right? So there's only these guys left right here. So that's what it is. If you keep that in mind, that might help you a great deal. Hope that makes sense.
Yes.
Especially so I'm speaking to Marquise, but
yeah, I came a little late, so I kind of caught the end of it. But it went where I was expecting it to go, which was just to take out those lows right there. But it just took a little too long to do it for me. So I find it, especially with my indicators were kind of going indecisive. So I knew it was going to go down there eventually. But as always, if you're in a little bit too early, you're still going to be suffering drawdown. So I'm kind of not trying to take as much drawdown nowadays and just take what the market gives me. Also, I'm leaning towards not really trading on Fridays. So I think my mindset might be a little bit off as well. So
yeah,
Fridays.
Oh, sorry.
No reason. No, Fridays is when I usually lose all my about half the week's profits. So I'm weighing against the risk.
Mm-hmm. I've marked up the charts a little bit here for you guys to kind of give you an idea of how I'm counting the waves and seeing the current structure. So using the Elliott wave here, I've got this 1, 2, 3 right here. So this is what has been controlling the move to the downside. And we get yet another one here, which I can't draw properly right there. And then we drop. And now we've gone up and chopping. So I figure that we should be done in this area here, and we would likely come back down to take out liquidity. So liquidity here has been taken. So these guys are gone. Liquidity here has been taken. So these guys are gone. Liquidity here has been taken as well. They're gone. All by this move. So liquidity now sits below these levels. So Yeah, that's what looks like the trajectory. Now I've labeled them as 1, 2, 3, and this could be our 4 here, and then this could be our 5, or we have an A, B, C, D, and an E. So we not sure which one of them is correct in the count, A, B, C, D, E, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But looking like this would be the trajectory, which is not such a great thing to see the market coming back down again, but we shall see. We're at 4 minutes before the open. So this is again, like, look at this leg. I'm just going to be looking at this leg here. So yesterday we had quite the push to the upside. So we have something that looks like that, 3, 4, and up. So I thought perhaps that we would go higher into this area here, but it looks like we might be done at that point. This point, it's possible here. Because right now we're in a downward trajectory. So looks like we might drop first here. 30-minute. We can see the structure again. We got a 1, 2 here, and again, it's a tough one here. I'm not sure if this is the top at this point, or if we're just chopping to go back up one more time. We could drop here first, and then we could go back up one more time, take out these highs again. That's totally possible as well, because it's pretty choppy there. So it's a bit iffy as to whether or not we are indeed complete. So there's our 1, 2. So this whole thing could be our third wave. So we'll do that again.
This looks like a wait and see situation, Lennox.
Yeah, we might get a 50% retracement.
So we could drop further. That's what I would suspect first, but we could still go back up.
I've been looking at that gap on the Wednesday gap on a daily, and I'm just expecting for them to at least try to drop down and fill that gap back, that liquidity void on the daily. Oh, it might be right. It's on my charts. It might not be on you guys' chart. Yep, that one.
That's a big gap. It's a long way down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're a long way from there at this point. So in the short term, again, looking at this move here, we've got the 1, 2, and now we've dropped to this level. So we got another 1, 2, get another one, and now we dropped. So we're just chopping in a fourth wave here. So my expectation is that we sweep all these guys, and we have already. You see that? We've swept everybody. We've swept them already as we speak. So, all right. That's the 5 minute.
Can you go down to 15 minutes?
That was where I was on the 15 just moments ago, right there. So
okay, if you could draw from the left bottom red candle, I had drawn a line covering the bottoms of the next two tails, and we have the big green one. It went below that, but it then came back up. So it's tending to look like it wants to go up now.
Yeah, so I think they're faking everybody to go long here because S&P has divergence with the NAS right now. So we're about to begin 4 seconds and we're starting. See the divergence right there?
Yep.
Yeah, so they've swept all the liquidity now. And I would look for them to bring this back to the downside now. So 5 minute, here we go. Everybody's been swept out. Everybody's been swept out below.
Sweeping out the highs now, right?
Now we're sweeping out the highs to drop it back down.
Yes.
So that's how I would look at it. And we've got a 1, 2, 3 in here, and we're moving up time. So I would be looking for a turnaround 1, 2, 3 top here. So I welcome all the YouTubers out there. We are the 123 traders. We trade 1, 2, 3 setups, and that's all we're looking for is a 1, 2, 3, and then we use the Elliott wave theory to help us. And we're doing this. I'm doing this here for educational purposes only. I'm not expecting anyone to take any of my trades. Right, so do so at your own risk. And if you like us, give us a like. And if you subscribe, that would be great. Thank you. All right, so we have begun. So I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 top. So what constitutes a 1, 2, 3 top or 1, 2, 3 bottom? 1, 2, 3 top would be looking for would be something that looks like this.
Right now, when this candle closes, it looks like we have a fractal.
1, 2, 3, like that. And so if we can retrace back up here, that will be a nice entry to go down. So this is what our 1, 2, 3 looks like. So that's what I'm looking for now. So we've breached this low here. We're getting a gap. So still looking for a push back up. However, could have entered at this point here. That's a fractal. Fractal is also a 1, 2, 3. A fractal is a swing high with 2 lower highs beside it. So they're really dropping it.
This thing is moving very, very fast.
Yeah, we've got another breach here. So looking for a retrace here. Here comes our retrace now. I've got a inverted gap here. Coming back up pretty quick, looking for a sell here. And they just touched. So I'm just a little slow getting in, but I'm taking the sell at this point. Okay.
You're looking at going short, Lennox?
Yes, looking to go short.
Same would apply to Tesla, I guess.
Oh yeah, I'm actually in Tesla from last night. I'm still up quite nicely here. I think I better take my profits off. I'm going to do that right now because they might be coming back down. So I totally forgot that I was still in from yesterday. I was trying to close it yesterday, and when I tried to close it, they said, "Oh, you can't because the market's closed." So I'm going to take my profit off right there. So that was good. So let's see the NAS here. Okay, so they've pushed up quite a bit here on me. I'm going to add to my position here. They've gone through these gaps like butter, and they've created a gap going to the upside now. So I could be wrong, and they're going to take out this high one more time.
I think they're going
taking
north.
That high out one more time. So there we go. So they were very tricky here. So we got a 1, 2 here. Then they do 3, 4, and now they sweep the high. So I could have waited a little longer there in Tesla, and they might sweep the high there, but maybe not. They might not sweep that high. Let's see how S&P looks. S&P, see, they're not sweeping the high on S&P as yet, anyways. So we're getting some divergence on S&P, but looking to sweep now. So they're they're making a liar out of me. I really thought we'd be coming back down. So let me go back up to a higher time frame and take a look at this. So they've swept everybody out, and there isn't anyone else left to sweep. So we should be turning back to the downside here. And that should be about it.
1-2-3 top on the 1 minute Tesla.
I'm on the 5 minute. No wonder I'm seeing this oddly. Okay, so there's our 1 minute time frame. Yeah, we do have a 1, 2, 3 at this point. So Tesla would be something like this, and then we get this little drop here, big push up, 1, 2, 3. So we should be coming down, taking out these lows and coming back down is what I would expect. So Tesla would look, if I went up to the 4 hour, you can see how Tesla, we've been just chopping. So the expectation is that we could come back down. So they've swept everybody out. There's only these guys left up here. The dollars are sitting up at these levels here. So if we're going down, they might leave these guys alone for now and go back down, take out the lows. There's dollars down here as well. So they might go back down and take out these lows. And then once they're finished, they'll come back up and grab all the liquidity above here as they go up. So we shall see here. Go back to the 1 minute. Let's see if I'm losing my shirt here. Okay, so they're still going higher, interestingly. Where are they going to? There's an order block here. We should be about done up. Now I didn't put a stop on, and that might be to my own chagrin here, but let's see. Yeah, we should be basically done here. We should be coming back down. I'm taking the risk not putting a stop on at that point. I was pretty confident that we were going to come back down quickly, but making a liar out of me. So I'm gonna.
Looks like we might have a 1-2-3 bottom on the 1 minute Tesla.
Okay, so we have a 1, 2, 3 top here, and this drop. So this is a fourth wave. So they're pushing up quite a bit here. Where there is a gap here on the 15 minute. We've come right into that gap. So
we're almost up to a 5 minute order block.
I'd expect a wick here on the 15 minute. And we're starting to form a wick now. So right, so it looks like we're starting to get that wick now, starting to make a turn. So I'm going to sell some more at this point, looking for them to drop. So I took a big risk here on this trade, but I'm going to see this out. And so my gaps. So 930 is right here. So my first gap was here. This is a 930 candle. This was my first gap. Still not done yet. Okay, still going up. Maybe the last hurrah here. Well, you're saying Tesla had a 1, 2, 3 bottom.
Yeah,
So
I'm
yeah,
wrong.
they started
I'm
a 1,
wrong.
2, 3 top, and then we turn it around and go up. But now we've swept this high. So I'm looking for a turnaround here, but we do have a 1, 2, 3 bottom, so it can go a little higher. Let's see how Tesla looks here. Looks like got to see to the. I've got to be able to see to the left on Tesla. Can't see anything even down to the hourly. We've swept everybody out on the hourly, 4 hour. So the only guys left is up here for Tesla. So will they make an assault all the way up to there? That's possible, I suppose, but it's looking like we might be running out of steam. So we've swept everybody out except for these guys here. But we do have some gaps on the other side. We have a big, huge gap here that we're in currently. That's the 4 hour. So we're right in the midpoint of that gap, 5 minute. Yeah, we might be close to done. So if this 1, 2, 3 holds as true, then it's likely that we could take out the high one more time. But that might be it. If we don't take that high out, then we're just coming straight down. So see the NAS again. The NAS, see how the NAS is coming down quite quickly here. So Tesla might also be done.
Well, we may not be done yet. I mean, it might be playing with us.
Oh, yeah, they like to play. Okay, so I've made a couple grand here. So I'm going to just close my trade right there. And the reason why I'm going to close it is because I was in deep drawdown. So I got my profit back. So what I'm going to do now is start again. So I made a couple grand on that. Just going to wait for them to pull back one more time and then see if I can jump in again and get a ride here. All right, so let's see what Tesla did. So we'll see Tesla is trying to push up to take out the high one more time, which is what we would expect since we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom. It's to take that and take that high one more time. Sweep this high. Once we've swept this high, then we would look for them to come back down. So a breach of this low here would indicate a change in our direction. So they might or might not take this high. We would expect that they would. We would expect that. So that would should give the NAS a push back to the upside here. So I'm looking for a push back up. Can we get that? It's either I made a mistake and got out, or we get a push back up and I can get back in again to come down. So let's see if I get that push back up. I could have taken a portion off and left some on as well. But we've come back to the first gap of the morning session right there. So I would expect a little bounce from here.
Lynn Pitcher.
Hi, dear.
Please mute yourself, George. Thank you. Remember, guys, if you have any background noise and so forth, please mute yourself. All right, so I'm getting that bounce back to the upsides is what I would expect. Now, can we make it back up to this level? this out of the way here. So I'm going to sell it again. I'm just a bit too slow. Okay, I get another chance at it again. All right, so this time I'll put a stop on because I don't want to go into drawdown again like I just did. So I'll put a stop just above this level here and look for them to come back down again.
I have to do it really quick.
So Tesla is not breaking that high as yet, if they're going to. Getting a nice move on the NAS, so I'm going to again take some profits off. Beautiful move there. All right, and I could actually move my stop into positive at this point. So I'll put it right about here. And what's the expected move? We should be coming down to take out all these lows down here. So should be able to put my stop down below. Go to that level down here. And probably I could go lower. Let's just see what it looks on the 15, the 30. Just trying to look to the left to see what's over here. And there.
And some yogurt and orange. There's yogurt in the fridge. It's the one you have to put. It's not good to take. I have to get back to my tree. Thank you.
There's a low right here at this point. So I'm going to go for that low there. I'm going below this low here as a target. Of course, we could go lower. It's possible. There's a gap down here on this is a 30-minute time frame. There's a gap here. So it is possible they could come all the way down here as well. I am correct here. The 30-minute gap. That seems quite a stretch to come way down here, but it's definitely a possibility as I am looking for them to actually come all the way to the bottom down here overall in the long term. But short term here, we're just looking for some low-hanging fruit, as it were. So there is a gap here on the 15. So that's right where I am with my target. That's where I would expect them to come in the short term, right there. I'm gonna explain what I explained before we started because there were some of us weren't here yet. Okay, do we have George, is your friend available today or no? Do you know?
I'm not too sure.
His name is John Richards, right? Correct?
John Richard, yes.
Okay, I'll do a request to join, see if he gets on. I've tried Omar. I didn't get him. Let's see.
kind of interesting. You have to contact everyone to join.
I shouldn't have to. I'm not sure why I have to.
Yeah,
I shouldn't really have to. But you said you didn't have a button to join, so which is very odd. It should say meet now or join.
Well, meet now is not the one that I should push because that starts a meeting with everyone else.
Not if I've started the meeting already. You would just join the meeting.
I think that's how we got into trouble the other day.
I have the same problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. We have to figure that out to see.
There's no join or meet or anything. It's just really archaic.
So there's Tesla just sliding up and down now. So we get this 1, 2, 3, and now we're just chopping. You see, they're just chopping it up. So they're sweeping everybody out here. So there's a lot of liquidity above. So
yeah, there's still liquidity above.
It's a possibility they can do that, but it's not looking so great anymore. That they might. We're coming down pretty hard here, coming down into the number 1 point. So it might be over for Tesla. You can see the NAS.
I'm out of the trade.
The NAS is coming down quite a bit here. So I'll bring my stop down and lock in some more profits. All right, so let me explain what I explained earlier, and I think this might help everyone. So the typical movement for these guys, what they want, what the market makers are trying to do. So here's our 1, 2, 3. So like I was explaining to Peter and Marquis earlier, is that last night I was watching the charts there just before midnight, and I was looking for a play to the downside. So because I'm looking for a play to the downside, so are the market makers. That's the whole reason for you're looking to go short. So at this point here, they took everybody out right there. They took all the sellers were taken out at that point. They took all the buyers out over here. So if you look at the market in this way, that the buyers and sellers, and when you say buyers and sellers, we're just talking about stops. It's just the stops. So whenever somebody buys, they have a sell stop. Whenever somebody sells, they have a buy stop. So unless you don't put a stop on, of course, right? So that's the reason I didn't put a stop on over here, because I didn't want them to take me out, because I believe that they're coming back down. You see, so they can push the price right back up to fake everybody to go long, and that's the ploy. So last night when I was up watching this, and they push up in this move, you can make nice profits going up. You take everybody out, and now we start coming back down. And once they've made this move down, and which is our structure. Our structure is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in here they do the chop. So in here we have a 1, 2. They do that. They chop A, B, C, D, E, and then they drop it down. So they're sweeping all the buyers out. They're enticing the buyers in here to go long now, because they see this drop. But above the buyers in here, there are sellers who are thinking that it's going short. So they go back up and take them out. And then they make this move to the upside. So they're taking as many people out as they can with their stops. And at that point, I'm looking to go short. So I see a 1, 2, 3. That's my 1, 2, 3. So when I get a 1, 2, 3, I'm looking for them to drop it, come back up, drop it again, sweep these guys out, then come back in, and then drop again. So at this point here is where I want to get in to catch this move. Once I catch this move, I'm out. I don't care about what they do after that, because this is after midnight. I'm done anyways. I'm so tired. So I catch this move down. I'll get out. You see how they sweep everybody out. The last buyers were left here. These guys are all gone now. So these are the only ones left. They're gone. They sweep them out. They push back up, just like right here, they push back up, they drop it down. That gives us our structure. So once they do that, you know that, well, we don't know, but we expect that they're going to go back up, take everybody out who went short in here, which is what they did. And they do the structure in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, this is where you'd want to sell to come back down. If you wanted to continue down, you can see it's beautiful. They do that, mess everybody up again. So you see all the stops in here, everybody going short gets taken out by this candle. Anybody going short or long, sorry, here and here gets taken out, coming back down. And that's the whole ploy. So if you can see this, if you can understand what I'm saying, this is all that they're doing all the time. This is the whole game. So when they drop it, this would have been a beautiful move this morning from this level. If you could see that, that's just fantastic. I mean, that's even better than this move here. So at this point, this drop into 7 o'clock, then they're doing our A, B, C, D, E move. So I expected them to come up and take everybody out again, because I have
Your
a 1,
7
2.
o'clock is 10 o'clock Eastern time.
No, that's 7 o'clock Eastern time here.
Oh, okay.
This is all Eastern time. So 7 o'clock this morning, they came down to this low, close to 7 o'clock. It looks like around 6.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Time. Sorry.
No problem. So because we're looking at this 1, 2, 3 as the controlling mover of this market, when we drop down to this level, we know that we're in a fourth wave now.
Yep.
So this is the key. So we know they're going to chop it up and down. So expectation is that they're going to take all the sellers out in here, but down at the bottom, they're taking out all the buyers as well. So they sweep all the buyers, and then they sweep the sellers last, and they leave this guy alone. So this is the only one that's left. They've taken these guys out, and then they come up and take everybody out who are selling, and then they drop it down. So now they're going to come and take out this last guy here, the last one left. So this is the ploy at all times. So if that makes sense, this is what's going on. So the big drop. So anyone who's going to go long would put their stop here. Anyone who's going to go short would put their stop here. Anyone who's going to go long will put their stop there. Anyone who's going to go short will put their stop there. Anyone who's going to go long will put their stop here, and so on. So this is all that's going on all the time. So the market is moving to take liquidity. So if they're moving to take liquidity, then that's the ploy. That's what they're doing. They're hunting it all the time. So this is basically a consolidation and a manipulation area. This move. This is our classic A, B, C, D, and E move. So that's the reason why when I got in this morning, I didn't put a stop on, because I know that they're coming up. I'm not knowing, but I'm expecting. I can't say I know, because there's no surety in this game. There's no guarantee that such and such is going to happen. It's just an expectation of what I think is going to happen. So seeing that movement, I'm expecting them to go up and take everybody out, take all these guys out, take these guys out. They go up even higher, because they're inducing the longs. They're inducing guys to continue going up. And these guys were still going up in this leg right here. All the people that are buying going up in this leg, if we go down to the 1 minute time frame, you'll see what the inducement's all about. So it's the same thing. Everybody, people are moving their stops up on these lows. And look at that. They've taken me. See that? I wasn't even safe there, because I put my stop there. So that's why stops are so killer, because they've got to, in order to drop this market, they got to go up and take the stops, you see? So I took a risk by moving my stop into that level, and now I get taken out. So now I have to fight to get back in again, or find an opportunity to get back
boy,
in.
they just hit my stop.
So there's some
I
news.
thought I was way the heck out of the way. Wow.
So this is the 10
They're
o'clock.
brutal.
There's some 10 o'clock news, I believe. Consumer sentiment came in a little higher
10
than
o'clock,
expected.
yeah.
Yeah. So I
We have a
totally
1, 2, 3 bottom on the 1 minute Tesla.
let's see Tesla here at this point. So they did not take out the highs and they came back down. So we're still looking to come back down here because now we have a 1, 2, 3 up here. So that's controlling the move. They're chopping it. We would expect them to come down, take out these lows again. But
Why
they
would
might,
that not be? Why would that not be a 1, 2, 3 bottom?
because we have a 1, 2, 3 top.
Oh, okay, I see.
So the expectation here was that this 1, 2, 3, if that's the controller at the time, when we get up to here, we're going to chop it, but we would come back up and take out these highs, but they did not do that. So they came back down into this area. So it kind of messes up our structure. Our structure is messed. So at this point, the 1, 2, 3 at the top now is in control. So this drop here means that we should continue back down to take out these lows.
Okay, got it.
Because we didn't make that move up here. If we had made that move here, then a 1, 2, 3 at that point would be controlling it. You see? So I could be wrong still, you know, and they could take out these, they could still go and take these, take out these highs, you know, from this exaggerated move here, because this is an exaggerated move in the sense that they came back into this area, which you don't expect them to do that. So if they do that, then we have a different type of structure. So what we're looking for with the 1, 2, 3 is an impulse move. An impulse move means, again, we don't break this level coming down. So if we draw a line here, our move back down should not come into this area, or at least we shouldn't get any closures in this area. We can maybe wick into it, but, you know, tail into it or whatever. But if they break it and come into it, then we're in a different type of structure.
Do we not have a 1, 2, 3 bottom on the 5 minute Tesla?
And the only 5 minute bottom I see on Tesla currently is this one here. Then we have this move here, and then we get this move. So it's totally possible that it can still go up one more time and take out these highs. You know, it is a possibility. So what I was saying, see, if you're looking at a 1, 2, 3 bottom here, is that what you're referring to?
No. The start of today, there's a 1 up to 2 down to 3 now going up. Yeah,
you mean in here?
Yeah, there.
Yeah, I don't look at a 1, 2, 3 that way. So I would not look at the 1, 2, 3 that way, because the 1, 2, 3 should be a standalone 1, 2, 3. Where what I mean by standalone is that we've moved to a low, that's our 1. We've moved to a high, that's our 2. We've moved to a low, that's our 3. When we're in mid range here, it doesn't work that way. Okay. Here is a 1. So where's our 2? And at this point, you know, if we could say that's a 2 there and that's a 3. So it's very quick. It's a very tiny one. But I wouldn't call this a 1, 2, 3 at this point. You can, you know, technically speaking, you could say, yeah, it is because you had a pullback, but it's not technically, it's not, you know, the 1, 2, 3 that we're looking for. Here is another 1, 2, 3 at this point, like that, because that moved down. So now we have a 1, now we have a 2, and now we have a 3. So that's not a very good 2. So that's a 1, 2, 3 at that point. This also is a 1, 2, 3 here, and then we get this move. So a 1, 2, 3 here. So when you get up here, there's no 1, 2, 3 in here because we're in a move already.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Got it.
Yeah, there's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 top here. There's another one. You could call that a 1, 2, 3 top at that point. However, I wouldn't really call that a 1, 2, 3, even though technically it is, because we're inside a chop. Although you don't know you're inside a chop at that point, perhaps, you know, but this would be the 1, 2, 3. That's the key because it's the controlling one.
Lennox, I put a drawing in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
that diagonal I drew right around 8 o'clock, shortly after 8 o'clock. Look how it's still been holding. It's looking a lot like we want to go north.
Okay. We think we're going to go north. So Tesla is moving up quite a bit here all of a sudden now. So let's see. So this is a 1, 2, 3 now, Peter. This is a 1, 2, 3. Even though you see how they chopped it here, and then they drop it. So they've violated this area, like I said. However, they're pushing back up to take everybody out. See, and that's, you could expect that because there's liquidity sitting here. There's a whole bunch of it, and so they've taken them all out and pushed up. But what they did was they violated our structure, and that's okay. They can do that, but we're not expecting them to do that if we're looking for this to be a valid 1, 2, 3. So now they've come all the way back in and pushed it up to take this out. It still gives us our structure, but it's a different type of a structure. It's not an impulse structure. That's the difference. We didn't get an impulse leg. We're just getting a diagonal type of pattern. The pattern is different. But they did come up and take out all these. So it took them a while to do that, you see. But now I would be expecting them, once they've taken out this high, we'd finish this leg. So we got a double 1, 2. It looks very strong now that we could, continue up for a bit. So like I was saying yesterday, we have to be like water. You have to be fluid. You have to be able to, to bend and move with them, because they throw things at you that, unexpected stuff, like what we just saw here with the NAS. And look at the NAS. I mean, it's coming back up like crazy. So I wasn't expecting that kind of movement. I thought we would be completely, I thought perhaps we could come back and take this out. Yes, that's a possibility, but we would be turning back to continue down. So I'm totally wrong here now. It's going right up to sweep that liquidity again, which is very interesting. So let's see what S&P is doing. Is S&P doing the same thing? Are they seeking to take out that liquidity there as well? That might be a hint for us. So this is a total change in the way I was in my expectations. So let's see what S&P is doing. So you can see S&P is not doing the same thing. Clearly, right? So S&P is saying, you know what, I don't have enough strength to get up there. So I'm going to put a line here. So S&P says, I don't have enough strength to get up there, guys. I'm just too weak. I need to take a breather and leave these guys up here alone. That's what S&P is telling us. So they're just coming back into, looks like just this gap here, and that's it. Perhaps they could go a little higher. Yes, they could come back up maybe one more time up into here, but they don't have the strength to go at this point. Well, now they're saying, well, maybe we can do it, but we'll see. So here we go. So do we still get divergence? Is going to be the key question here now. So they're pushing up. This should be the last line of defense. If we break through this, then they're going to take that high out. Yep. So that means NASDAQ is pushing higher, and it is. So we're getting quite the divergence on the NAS right now. We're going up. So it was not expecting them to do that. So let's see what they're on the higher time frame, what's going on. So we're still inside this chop. And again, I would have expected them to take the lows first before they did this move back up. So they didn't do that. So let's see if S&P did take the low out. Did S&P take the lows? Nope, they did not either. Okay, so interesting. Did the Dow take the lows?
We're still in a wave 4 on that chart.
Yeah. The Dow is totally different. So we're, totally a wave 4 here, but they've messed up our wave 4 even. So if this is our number 3 point, and then our expectation is that we have A and B, but So it's looking like this is A and B here, and then C and D, and then this is the E leg. So they can trick us. And, you know, if this is the case, this is a good one. So they sweep these guys, they move back up, drop back in, and then now they're going up. So what are they going back up here for? Is
Well,
the
they've
only
got a
liquidity
lot
sitting
there.
here. That's the only liquidity. So are they going to go take that high? That's possible, right? So let's look at S&P again. So sometimes you think you've got it down, and and you don't. So here's your three. I thought it was A and B and C and D, and that was E, and we're done, and we're going to just do this. That was my expectation. So I'm wrong, and it's okay. It's okay to be wrong, because you're never going to get this right every time. But I still made profits. I still haven't lost. So that's great. It's good. So they've swept everybody out. They swept everybody out. There's only these guys left up here to be swept. So that's it. So if they don't sweep them, then we're coming back down. Still holding to them dropping this market down. All right, so S&P cannot take that high. And this is the high that the NAS is looking to take out, and S&P is quite a ways from that one. So it's not looking like S&P has enough oomph to get up here, never mind getting to get here. So here's the trajectory on S&P. We've got an A. And then this whole thing looks like it's the B. So I would have said A, B, and C, and D here again, and that we would have been done and coming back down. That's how I would have looked at it. But if they take this high out, then that count is incorrect. And the count is actually A and B and C and D and E if they take this out. So again, if I'm making any sense here, I'm going to put the let's get the A, B, C, D, E pattern. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So there's my A. So I thought we had a B here, a C here, a D here, and then this is the E leg, and we'd be done. That would mean if this is our E, then this would become a 1-2. We wouldn't break this level, and we would come screaming back down, taking out the stops here, because the stops have been cleaned out here. These stops are still safe. These stops are still safe, and these stops are still safe. So the only one taken out is here.
So that could possibly be
that's
double
S&P, isn't it?
This is the S&P. Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay,
somebody's saying
that's diverging with the NAS.
It's totally diverging with the NAS right now.
It's double top possibly on the S&P, maybe.
Yeah, so we're not taking out that high. You see that on the S&P? So that's what my count. That's how I would have counted it. Now the NAS. The NAS. Let's see. You see how they've come up. They've taken out this high, but they still haven't taken that high. So again, I would have counted it as my A, my B, my C, and my D, and my E. But now they've broken the E, so my count is not correct. So where did I go wrong? So it's obviously that I have to move this over. So this one becomes my E because they've broken that high. This one becomes my D. This one, is that correct? Yeah, this one becomes my C. Where is my C? So this is my A. This would become my B here. This becomes my C in here. So it's a little different on the NAS. But that's very odd. It's a very odd pattern. It's not our usual. But the S&P is looks more correct to me than the NAS does. So what are they doing on the NAS? They're just messing everybody up, obviously, right? They messed me up, that's for sure. at this
Well,
point.
they've had two large recovery days, right? The last few days have been up.
Yes, we've had strong movements to the upside. So at this point, I'm going to look at the structure on this current leg. So on this current leg, we've had a 1, 2 here. So there's our 1, 2, 3. That's controlling the move. We get this move up and to this level. So are we done now is the question. Are we done at this point? Could possibly be done at this point. We got our structure finished, so we could look for a 1, 2, 3 top to come back down, or they're totally not done, and this whole thing is a 3, and we could go one more time, take the high. So that would take that other high that I've got marked here, which I said they might not take, right? So if I go back to the 5-minute, this high might still be taken, possibly. Although we do have our structure completion here that says that we shouldn't really take that high again. So it's very tricky here, very interesting. So at this point, we're breaking that low. I would look for a retrace and a drop. That's what I would be expecting at this point. So am I ready to take a trade on this? It's still a little iffy. Okay, now S&P is dropping nicely. We do have a 1, 2, 3 top on S&P. You can see that. We got a nice 1, 2, 3 top there. Boom, boom. So a retrace here, a drop. They swept that low. Okay, so this is again, boy, oh boy.
Well,
Okay.
I have to go to Buick sometime. We'll see.
S&P is tricky. It looks like they want to take the high. And why is that? Because they swept the low. See that? They swept the low here. So because they swept the low, they're going to take the high. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? And see what I'm saying? See what I'm seeing? This is what's tricky about this. These guys are good, I'm telling you. The market makers are great. Okay, so I'm going to explain this because this low here was swept on the S&P. So because the low here was swept, the argument now would be that they would sweep this high here, this high. And why would they sweep that high? If anybody can tell me, boy, then you have it. Then you know what I'm talking about.
Well, there's plenty of liquidity up there.
Yeah, there's liquidity there. Yes, definitely. So either they're going to sweep that high, which is what I would expect, because they swept this low. And the reason why I would say they're going to sweep this high and they swept this low here first, because we have a 1, 2, 3 here. See?
Yeah.
See? We have a 1, 2, 3 here. Unlike the NAS, the NAS's 1, 2, 3 is here. You see the difference? Okay, so I go to the NAS. It did not sweep on the NAS. See that? They did not sweep this low. So the 1, 2, 3 on the NAS is here. So that gives us this push here that says, oh yeah, we could be done. However, it might not be done because this whole thing is a 3, and then we chop up here, and then we go up one more time to take the high. So it's a little difference. That's why they give us those divergences. And so the S&P is possible, and I'm just saying possible, that they could come back up and take that high because they swept it down here and give us a 1, 2, 3 here. So that gives us a fourth wave, and we would expect another move up to take out the high. So the inducement is profound, and what they're doing is to mess everybody up. So they induce people to go short, and stops are up here. They induce people to go long, and stops are down here. So it's the same thing again, like I was saying, that their stops, they're inducing everybody to do the wrong thing. So if they don't take that high, then we would look for a 1, 2, 3 here to come back down.
I don't want to be too much of a distraction, but just so you know, X-Row is on the move today.
Okay. Let's see what it looks like here. Big time, eh?
Yeah, it's popping up. There's extra
nice
volume
pop.
today.
Excellent. That's good. Good to see.
It's been up consistently this week here, so.
Good. I haven't even looked at it, so that's great. Good to know. I'm looking for the big turnaround in the markets here, and then I'll start looking at my portfolio and weeding out all the laggards and so forth. And okay, so you can see how on the S&P they're making a liar out of me. My expectation is that I wanted to see them break that high because they swept the low and gave us the 1, 2, 3 here, but doesn't mean they have to. You see, that's the other thing that makes this really tough. They don't have to do that. If they have their quota, they can just leave without us, and that's what they're doing. See, so the expectation was that we would come down and take out these lows. That they've done it in a very peculiar way. That's all. So on the NAS is telling the truth here. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. We get a 1, 2, 3 top. They break that level. So that would be a sell at that point. So at this point now, we can still expect a retrace to come down. It's still not too late for a retrace. So a lot of times people think, oh, we've missed the move, but sometimes no, because this is just a sweep here. So they could come back up still, give you a chance to get in. They might not, but. So my expectation has been thrown out the window, because at this point I thought that was the top, and we get this move here, come back up here and drop. That was the expectation, but they said no, they weren't done. They're going to go and kill these guys up here as well, and that's what they did. And now they've taken the liquidity here, and they're not even retracing yet. We still would expect that because we have a 1, 2, so we expect a bounce in here, right? So this is the tricky part of it, and it's at this point you're taking a risk jumping in because they could still take that high. But it wasn't that bad of a risk to take, you see, to jump in at that. That's why I jump in on these, because sometimes it's okay to take that risk. So what if you get stopped out at that point? It's a small risk, to that level, and yeah, you get stopped out, but you can always get back in if you're really confident that we're coming down. So these guys are very, very, very good, and that's the takeaway here. And they manipulate this beautifully to mess everybody up.
So the Dow and the S&P have both taken out the lows, whereas the NASDAQ has not. And
so S&P, yeah, look at that. That's the expected move, like I was saying for them. But in here, I would have thought once we break this level, we get a little bit of a retrace to give us a chance to get in to catch them. But they say no, so they break the lows already. That's just amazing. You see, so that was the expected move in the first place, right? For them to come down and sweep out all the liquidity. So I had it correct. It's just that we're in a fourth wave, and it's very, very difficult sometimes to figure out exactly what they're doing. But that's what the expected move is, for them to take out the lows. So the NAS is not there yet. I would expect the NAS to still take out these lows in any case, but they haven't got there yet. So do we get a retrace before we do? If you get a retrace, you can jump in at that point to catch the ride down if it's sufficient points, handles to go down to that level. So let's see what Tesla has done in the same. Tesla is still hanging up at the top. So interesting. So you see Tesla is looking to take out these highs. So we get that nice 1, 2, 3 here, and they go way up, and now this is quite the move on. I hope you caught that, Peter. It's bucking the trend, and they went up quite nicely here. Now they're chopping again, so we're looking to take out the highs one more time. So I really didn't have to exit my Tesla first thing there this morning. It was would have been okay for me to stay in, but that's okay. So one more push above the highs, and maybe we're done. So quite interesting there. So they're totally bucking, doing a completely different turnaround than the NAS. All right, so do we get a retrace back up in here before we drop one more time? S&P looking to retrace as well. So we could expect a retrace because, again, there are stops above this level. So stops there, there's a gap there as well. So it's possible that they could come back up, take these guys out, come back into this gap, and then that would give us an opportunity to go down for the final leg, which would give us our structure 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that's a total possibility there. It's the same thing on the NAS. That structure, the same. So do we come back up, take out that high, or did it just continue straight down? And they're telling us, nope, they're not coming back up there to take the high. So they've got their quota. They're just going to go straight down, take out the lows. So the liquidity guys, the guys who didn't sell down here, are in trouble now. We still have their stops here, I should say, are going to get taken out. And again, there's no guarantee that this low has to be taken, but that's what we would expect, right? On the 5-minute, we would still expect them to sweep this low and this low. Those were the only two areas of liquidity left down here. These guys are gone. So Tesla is doing a complete reversal. Unusual, because Tesla is usually going in the same direction as the indices are. So very, very unusual to see Tesla going up while the indices are falling. We could sell NAS here to drop one more time to take out these lows, but again, I know where I am in this structure, and it's a risky move. There's again no guarantee that they're going to take these lows, but I would expect that they would. So it's a tempting sell. However, yeah, it's a tricky one. So S&P. See, S&P's already swept that low. So did the NAS at that point. NAS swept that low as well. So they both have swept the previous low. So now there's only liquidity here and here. Okay. So another drop. sweep that low. And they've swept it. So only these guys left now. So I'll mark that low. There they go. So now they've caught up. Well, basically caught up with the S&P now, because the S&P's already taken that low earlier. So S&P took that low from a while ago. So that's quite the difference in the charts, because at the 952 mark or so, this low is now being taken, but the S&P took it much earlier. And look at how high up that was. So it took it way earlier than the NAS. So where are they going down to is the question now. Are they done at this point, or is there more down to come? So we need to figure that out. So we look to the left. There's a gap over here. This is on the 30. The gap right there. We're into that gap. And there's a low here. So that's a ways down. And then there's another gap down there. So I'm going to go to the 15. Scrunch it up a little bit here. See. That's about it. So we could be, these lows here were taken as well on the 15 on the S&P. So that could be the bottom at that point. We could be at the bottom of this move. So our structure is essentially, there's our structure. So we could be done. So to make the structure 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that's it. That's the sweep. So we would be looking for 1, 2, 3 here to continue, possibly, to come back up and take out these highs. Maybe these highs. So that's the S&P. So if that's correct, and then we have a 1, 2, and then this whole move, and then this is a 3, 4. And then we get another push up one more time to take out all these highs in here. So that would be a possible trajectory today. So the NAS would look similar. So there it is, 1, 2, and this will move up to 3. And then we chop down to 4, but they haven't taken out these lows. So the NAS is only taken out these. So you see how they mess it up. We're expecting them to take these lows, but they have not. Whereas on the S&P, they did. So the S&P is a lot more truthful in the sense of our structure than the NASDAQ is. So the NASDAQ is stronger right here compared to the S&P, which is much weaker right here. So I like the S&P's pattern because it's more in line with what I'm expecting. The expectation of them taking all these lows out, whereas on the NASDAQ, they have not done that. They've only taken out the recent lows here. So why are they not taking these guys out? And will they still come down and take them out? So you see how the dilemma is interesting. Is this really the bottom, or do we come back down one more time to still take these lows, right? That's how people get chewed up in the markets, because they just don't have a clue of what's going on, and you need to have an expectation of what could possibly occur. That's why I'm saying to you all the time, you have to look at all the possibilities, because there are a number of possibilities. And someone, I think it was Omar, that was saying this game it's like chess. Yeah, it's definitely like chess. You have to think ahead all the time of what the possibilities are. Otherwise, you know, you're just sitting duck in here. You're just a liquidity all the time. I haven't even looked at Bitcoin today. Wow. Okay, let me take a look at Bitcoin. I'm going to go to the daily on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's in a very strong move here. So we have, they've swept their lows. We get a 1, 2, 3 here, and we're off. So looking like, you know, they want to sweep out all these guys that sold. So all these guys are in jeopardy on this move here. So it looks super strong for Bitcoin, hitting back above 100,000 again, just like that. Just amazing. I really thought that it was a possibility that we could come back down one more time before we got this move. But they swept the highs. He dropped it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the reason why I thought we could come back down one more time was because this move up could have been short-lived and we could come back again. However, they've really taken out these highs with gusto, and so these guys are in line to be taken out as well. So it's looking very, very strong here for Bitcoin to push up and take out its high of highs at 110. I think it's 110,000 or something like that. Let's see, that high was 109,358. So that is definitely in the cards to be taken out. That's the high right there. So it's amazing. I'm very surprised at the turn of events here, but not terribly. I was hopeful. I'm an optimist. Right. So that's where we're heading. So that's on the weekly. So on the daily, there's our move. There's our structure move. 1, 2 up here. We drop, and they drop it again. Sweep the lows. Make a 1, 2, 3 here, and now we're heading straight up. So that's should be the trajectory. At this point here, we'd probably get something like this, and then we continue on again. All right, so 4 hour, very strong. Got some very strong candles here on the 4 hour, 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, see, I even marked it thinking that we could come back down to this morning and take out these lows, but they said, nope, we're not doing that. We're just taking off. So quite interesting there. They did not do that. So my expectation was really that they could possibly come back down one more time in here. And, you know, there I marked it from last night thinking, okay, this drop here, we would get a chop in here and drop one more time down, and maybe they could challenge and take out these levels. But they said, nope, we're not into that at all. We're done. We got our quota. We got a 1, 2, 3 bottom. We're just heading straight up. So that's it. Just go with them. So you have to be flexible. You have to be able to say, okay, if it's not happening what I'm expecting, and go with the flow. So very strong. So this looks like Tesla. You know, we got the 1, 2, 3 bottom, and then we're moving up nicely. So is there a play on Bitcoin at this point? This was a nice opportunity earlier, right in there. Catch that move. So could get in again to catch the move to take out these highs one more time. So that would be a possibility at this point now. So there's our 1, 2, 3. There's the move. There's the retrace. We've got equal lows here, but they're still leaving anyways. So they didn't take out these lows. Quite interesting. These lows are all intact. We get a 1, 2, 3. another one, and then we're moving out. So this is actually a buy opportunity on Tesla at this point to continue going up. I don't want to buy it there. I'd rather buy it down here. So if they pull back after crossing, then that would be present a better opportunity. But I'm probably nickel and diming at this point. You could just jump in at this point to go, but then your stop is going to be prohibitive. So you have to look at it in that way. Surprised I didn't take these lows. You see how on Bitcoin, how they can mess you up, because we get a 1, 2, 3. So when we drop here, and we're expecting that this low will be taken. So they go up, they chop it up. You would expect that they would come back down, take these lows, and they don't do that. Are they still going to come down and take those lows? It's possible. That's one of the reasons why I wouldn't jump in to go long here, because that's a big inducement. They induce you to jump in. They've swept these highs. So if you jump in at this point, they can take you out. They can drown you, bring you down, take all these guys out. Still, that's a possibility. So that's the reason why I'm a little hesitant about jumping in. So I was thinking, okay, if they break the high and they give us a retrace, it's a possible entry, and your risk is lowered. So it's better to get a lower risk. So if they do come through, your stop is smaller than jumping in at this point and getting a bigger risk, if that makes sense. Because if you're wrong and they come down and take these guys out, you're going to be crying saying, why did I jump in up here? Because there's a lot of traders jumping in up here right now to go long, and this could still be an inducement because we're just coming back into this area. Of course, I could be wrong. They don't come back down, take these lows out at all, and they just continue on. And that's okay. That's fine. Let them go. And it looks like that's what's happening. They're breaking through this area of our 1, 2. So if they break through that area, take out this high, then the likelihood of them coming back down to take out these lows becomes mute. But yeah, it's a tough decision right here. I'm going to go back to the NAS. So so look at that. The NAS just says, you know what, I'm not going to take any lows out anymore. So they did touch that low, took that low out just by a tad, and now we're going back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they are looking to go back up and take out highs again. So without taking out the lows here, very interesting how the turn of events, whereas the S&P did it the way we would expect. So S&P is in line with our expectations, taking out all the lows over here as well. And now we get a 1, 2, 3. This is beautiful. A little more, another retrace here would be another buy opportunity to continue. So quite interesting, the difference between them. Got a gap here. Are they coming back or not? Could be the same thing as Bitcoin. They don't come back. So sometimes you're looking for that retrace and it just doesn't happen. They just continue going, but that's fine. So here we got a 1, 2. So we should chop in here a little bit. Could chop up a bit. Expect a retrace though, and a continuation. S&P again, same kind of thing. S&P's got a gap there. So for those who are playing S&P, look at it in both ways. So this is the only gap on. There's a small, tiny gap there on the NAS. Oh, sorry, on the S&P right there, but it's very tiny. So kind of ignore. Sometimes I ignore them if they're too tiny, but it is there. And then on the opposite side, we have an inverted gap. So this whole area is a gap. So like that. So we could come retrace back into the 50% of the inverted gap. That would present a nice buy opportunity. See how it looks on the 5-minute. So on the 5-minute, we have a big, the gap. We have to wait for that candle to close in order to get a gap, but this is a huge gap on the 5-minute. Okay, so they did touch here, but we're chopping, so they can still, they've taken the liquidity at this point. I'm on the NAS here. They've taken the liquidity here, but we could still chop down one more time to come back down to this level. So I'm kind of, again, we're in a fourth wave area because we had our 1, 2. So we're chopping it up. So we could come back down to this gap here before we go. So patience is required in here because otherwise you get chopped up. So I've been on quite a nice roll here. I'm just gonna bring this up and show my account history. I'm up to 2,641,000 now. I'm heading to 3 million. I'm looking to get to 3 million before the 15th of next month. We're at what's our date today? The 25th. So possibility of doing that. But here on my account history, I've had quite a run without any losses. And there's my first loss, for $360, but I've been just mashing it up, trading, and lots of wins. And that's the goal. I'm trying not to lose ever, and it's tough though, but it's just stringing them together, just taking the profits when you get them. I get some big profits. I get some little profits, but if I can get 1,000 or more, I'm good, and if I can keep my losses small, that's great. And I've been just rolling along without any losses, and that's what that's the goal. That's what you want to do, is to not lose. So I'm very picky about what I'm jumping into. And I'm not giving them, my stops. So I try to go in and not let them take me out, because that's the whole game. They're inducing the buyers and the sellers right now. So there are stops above. There are stops below. These guys have been taken, so there's stops here. These guys just got taken. There's stops here now. So anyone who's going to go long now are going to put their stops below these lows and so forth. So see, they did drop down. They didn't drop down into the gap that I was expecting them to, but Let's see what S&P did at the same spot. So S&P touched. They didn't take out the lows, so they still can. They can still drop it down one more time. So will they drop it one more time into this gap? They might not. And if they don't, then I look for them to break the high and then give us a 1, 2, 3 to go. So that would be my entry at that point. So I'm looking for them to come back into the gap one more time, but I don't know for sure if they're going to or not. So it's, I do have a 1, 2 here. This is more like a chop. So I would expect them to drop it one more time, possibly. Is there time? Oh, well, come.
I'm done with Tesla. I wrote it up to the top.
Excellent. That's quite the move.
Very good, Peter.
That's quite the move there.
Those bugger market makers aren't going to beat me.
Yeah, that's the attitude. Don't let them beat you at all. So yeah, yeah, I'm jumping around from, you know, too many things, so can't concentrate on one thing. I prefer to just concentrate on one, you know, but yeah, this is a super beautiful move. And it, you know, again, Tesla is doing the opposite of what the indices are doing, which is quite interesting. So the indices are trying to catch up to Tesla right now.
Catch me if you can.
And it's interesting because the NAS and S&P did completely different things at the bottom here than expected. So the NAS is much stronger than the S&P, but I think they're both now in line. So the S&P was weaker here briefly, and then now they've caught up to each other. So now I'd be, because they have broken this high, which it looks like they did, yep, just by a tad, this could be a buy opportunity on NAS at this point. So this gap, they did go through the gap, but we're inside a larger inverted gap right here. So we're in the good spot there. So I'm going to just do a buy here on this if I can. Buy it right there. So look for them to continue pushing up now. So I'm buying it because they swept the high, came back in. So I would expect that they shouldn't take this low again, and we should just continue out. But I could be wrong, right? So that's why you put stops on. So my stop would be below the low, which they can take again because they're mean. And so that would be my risk at that point. I could put my stop further away, but I say, why give them more money than necessary? So that's where my stop would be. Actually, a bit lower than I wanted to, but that's okay. So looking for them to push back out, take out these highs, continue on. Now they could still come and take this low because, like I say, they can spike it down, take you out, and then continue without you. So that's the hazard of putting your stop in, but it's always probably a good idea to put your stop in unless you're super confident. And even when you're super confident, there's no guarantee that they won't take you out.
I don't have too much luck with stops because the buggers find my stops.
Yeah, I see they're coming down to take that low, so my stop is in jeopardy. So now, yeah, that's what I was expecting in the first place. So again, they messed me up by doing it very, it's how they deceive you. So A, B, C, D, and you would think that they would be done at that point. I was expecting them to do that at this point here, but they said, no, we're going up, we're taking out the high. So once they take that high, you would think that they would be done. But that's very, very sneaky play. So there's my first loss in a while. And yeah, it's very difficult to not lose. All right, so where are they coming down to? There isn't anything down here that I can see for them to come back to. So let me go to the 5 minute. They've gone through big gap on the 5 minute here as well. So there really isn't anything down here that I can see that's. Am I missing something? Our inverted gap is quite large on the 5 minute time frames right there. So we were still in it. Back to the 1 minute. So I'm liking this now as a buy again. I think we're done. So I'll wait for a fractal. Okay, I'm going to buy it there. And look for them to come back up again.
There's still liquidity at the bottom of the lows on the NAS.
At this low here.
You can see it pretty good on the 15 minute.
Yeah,
So
that
right
would
there
mean
could
that would mean a total collapse here to come all the way back down, which I wouldn't expect them to be doing at this point now. But you know, that would be a very mean, nasty thing for them to do. So S&P has already taken all that liquidity, so I would be expecting them to go back up now to take out liquidity above. So it's just that we have divergence between the two. So that the divergence is quite pronounced. I should leave that one alone. The divergence is quite pronounced at the bottom. So I wouldn't expect them to come back down again. You know, so there's divergence here on the S&P and the NAS. You see, so we got that clear divergence here. So I would think that they're done and we're heading back to the upside. We're getting that nice movement here. Let's see if we can continue. So, and the reason again is because I have a 1, 2, 3 here. So this is what's controlling the move. We come in here, they chop it all up, and now we should continue up, take out these highs and possibly these highs up here as well. So can that happen? It can. Can it not happen? It can. So the expectation is that we should go up here. S&P. So it would have to be a complete collapse at this point in order for us to come back down again, which I don't see happening. We should be pushing back to the upside here. Okay, so we're at the 11 o'clock time. I'll go another 15 minutes and call it a morning, call it a week. We're looking for them to continue pushing up. did not put a stop on. So where would my stop be? So I put this little box on down here, and in the event I'm wrong, which is possible, I'll just be below these wicks here, halfway down. Halfway down. So
that 1, 2, 3 on the 1 minute looks like the bottom of a wave 1 on the 5 minute.
So you're looking at it in this way to come down.
Yeah.
That could be a possibility. Could be a possibility. So we do have, if this is our E, then we could expect a move, something like that. Certainly, that is a possibility because they have not taken these lows. But again, we have divergence, and the divergence is saying that we should go up first. So maybe this 1, 2, 3 here will just take us up, but not take out this high, and that would still give us that possibility of that move back down. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So before the 5 minute one takes effect. So the structure would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and that would take these guys out. We don't have to take out these guys, and then we could come back down. That's possible, right? You see? You see that? That makes sense, Marquis?
I missed that last last part. I was looking at the charts because I'm feeling like it's there's going to be somewhere we're in a more defined fourth wave.
Okay, so
maybe.
So the 1, 2, 3 on the 1 minute is what's the key. So here we got 1, 2. So this drop. So we would expect them to come up and take out these highs. Then it's possible that they won't take these highs. It's possible, right? And then we could come back down. That's possible. But right for the short term right now, we would expect them to take out these highs. So we've got a 1, 2 here. We would expect that move up, but they might not take out the highs up here, and that would still give us that 1, 2 to drop on the 5 minute. You see?
Yes.
That's a total possibility of that happening. Okay, so I'm going to take a little something off here because I made a loss before, so I want to get my profits back. So take a little something off right there, which is pretty close to those highs, and then let the rest continue. So where is my target? Really my target, I would want my TP to be the highs, but there's no guarantee that they're going to go all the way up there. So maybe I'll put it to these highs here. And that's still no guarantee that they're going to go all the way up there, So I have to be careful here. So they could just sweep these highs, take these guys out, and then they could be coming back down, like you're seeing from the 5 minute time frame. That you're saying that on the 5 minute that this is a 1, 2. So if it's a 1, 2, they'll sweep this high and then just come back down, right? So that is a total possibility, because we expected them to sweep the lows coming down, but they did not. So we still haven't had a 1, 2 yet to come down to still take those lows, right? So that is still in the cards. So that would mean Tesla has reached a peak or come into a peak up here to come back down.
I agree.
Can't even see the highs here. So they see they swept that high on Tesla. So that was quite the move. So are they going to take this one and this one in this move up, or do they just stop here and come back down? Right. So that's going to be, again, one of those questions that you have to ask. And you have to ask those questions to yourself as you traverse the charts. So
You have to be a nimble rabbit.
yeah, you have to be like water. You have to flow. Otherwise, you get caught in the rapids and you die. And these are rapids here. These are serious rapids in here. You know, they're just really chopping things up and messing everybody up. So you can see that it's essentially a fourth wave that we're in, right? If this is a fourth wave, the expectation is that we're coming back down to take out these lows. And they might take out all these highs first.
Yeah.
Before they take out the lows. Because that's where the liquidity is sitting.
Yep.
You get it?
Yep.
Makes sense?
Yep.
So liquidity is the key. They're hunting liquidity. So, you know, if you can't see it, then you're it. Tag, you're it, right? That's what it comes down to.
You got to take that mark off your back.
Yes, because you're just a target. So, all right. So now I can move my stop into positive and no loss on this trade. So that's what I like to do is just, I don't usually move my stop, but, you know, just to show you guys, you can just do that. You can move your stop into, if there's a safe place, but there is no safe place to move your stop. That's the whole thing, right? It really never, sometimes there is, but it's a misnomer that there is safety in stops. Okay, so they're just taking that high. So I would still expect them to go higher than just sweeping that high. I would expect them to go higher, but there's no guarantee that they are, right? So let's see what the S&P is doing at that same spot. S&P is doing, come on. Same thing. So S&P is doing the same thing. So I would expect another push to take out the high. The S&P has not taken the high out yet. So there's our structure again, 1, 2, and then, you know, this is just a chop, drop, and then we can do it again, chop, drop, and then move up again one more time. So will they take these highs? I don't know. So S&P said this was the E. If that was the E, then this was our 1, 2. So then we get another 1, 2, and then we should continue down. That would be the logical trajectory. But since S&P swept these lows, then this becomes a possibility that we could do this and go that way. So this is again where you have to be flexible. You can't be too rigid. Yes, it's possible for them to come down and take the lows again, but because they've swept these guys out, there shouldn't be any reason for them to come back down to take these lows, because that should be themselves, and we should be looking for something like this instead. So you can see the dilemma here, Marky. It's a dilemma. We're getting that nice move up. Can we reach the high? Don't know. Making a good push there, making a good run. Might not get up there though. You can bring my stop up higher, lock in more profits. Let's lock in $500. They can stop me out here now. That's fine. Or we can continue pushing up. So at this point, we have a small gap right there that's forming. So maybe that will hold. Continue us going. Get rid of this gap. Get rid of this gap. This was really tricky here. What they did here was they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is our 3. And then they did the A, the B, the C, the D, the E. Perfect. Sweep everybody out. All these guys who are selling have their stops here. All these guys who are buying got taken out. All these guys who are buying got taken out. They drop it down to an order block down here. And then they make a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and off they go to the. So we would expect that we would go up one more time here, take these highs one more time, possibly. And I say possibly because they've already swept here, so that could be the top at this point. But like I say, they can be rather mean, and they go up one more time just to take everybody out who's selling, thinking that's the top, right? So the whole thing for us is our structure. Structure is king. If you believe it, structure is king. Then if you can see it, structure is king. Structure is everything. This structure that I just drew here is the same structure I just drew here. So structure is everything. So they're looking to take out the high one more time. See how S&P is doing. S&P is getting there as well. So it doesn't mean they have to take out this high over here, though. This high could still possibly stay safe. They don't have to take it. So on the NAS, they don't have to take that high. So my target might not be hit. Is kind of what I'm saying. So I'll keep moving my stop up a little bit more, just in case they decide to come back. But where is liquidity, right? You have to think about where is the liquidity. So there's liquidity here that's just been taken now. So these guys are gone. So if they're gonna go for more liquidity, the only liquidity left is up here and above, right? So if they're going to go up and get more liquidity, because these are equal highs, then they'll do that. But if they don't, that means we're turning back, possibly to do this. Possibly. And if not, then we're turning back to just do this. Take out the liquidity here, and then turn around and continue going up. So which one is it, right? That's the $1 million question there. All right, so on that note, I'm gonna say au revoir. So Peter, we were gonna have a chat. We were gonna have a chat with Vic. Everyone. Peter, we were gonna have a chat with Vic.
Yeah, is he here? Is he here?
Yeah, we'll close off and then we'll call on a separate.
Okay, I'll call
Have a good weekend. Bye bye now.
All right, George. Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it as usual.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir, Marquis. Have a
We'll catch
great
you guys Monday.
Have a
I've
great
been using
strong
that.
end.
The wave basis, man, I like it.
Yes.
It really kind of provides structure especially when the markets are real chaotic.
Yes, sir. It's a good thing to you keep your eye on, definitely.
So thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. No problem.
I'll catch you guys Monday.
All right. Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye now.
Vic is on.
Okay. So I'm going to close.